How are you doing on this Tuesday? I can't believe it's Tuesday. I can't believe it's January of 2022 already. I don't know what's happening. It seems like 2021 didn't even exist. But I'm here with my amazing friend, Brandon Young, and we are going to talk about this cool tool that Brandon has recently released to the public called Data Dive. A lot of my clients are already using it and raving about it. There are free parts of this tool that are just so valuable. So I'm excited to have Brandon himself give us the review today and show us what this tool can do. And he's got special discounts for you guys on the paid portions of the tool as well. But the goal today is just to show you what Data Dive is all about and what it can do for you. And before we get into it, Brandon, welcome. Why don't you tell, for those people, for like the 1% of people who do not know you in the e-commerce space, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about you?
No, great to see you, Amy. And thank you for having me. So my wife and I are sellers. We have our own toy brand and travel brand and outdoor brand. And we've been selling for 6 years now. Wow, it's hard. Wow. Time goes so fast, like you're saying. So 5 years with private label, now 6 years with private label, and we'll do over 20 million this year with our brands. In addition to that, I teach, I help people, and we've released a tool based on our teachings. We do a lot of keyword research, and we're known for that. So we put a tool together that helps speed up that process and really analyze a market and opportunity, and try to help people choose the right products, improve their success chances.
I love it. And you are a very data driven person. Your business model is very data driven, and it's obviously very successful. And I love data, but I like the research and kind of the application of inferences, I guess you could say, to the data. So I start the opposite direction, right? You start with the data and you end with looking into that market research and just making sure that your differentiation matters. And I start with the market research and end with the data, like confer it with the data. So what got you in? I'm just curious, what got you into the data? Like, what made you decide to start with the data and go this route?
Yeah, it had to do with like some mistakes we made early on. I didn't understand how Amazon's algorithm worked or different search terms. We weren't very good at PPC in the beginning either. And then the more I studied PPC and realized how relevancy mattered for keywords, for things like click-through rate and conversion rate, which ones to prioritize, really understanding search volume, we started to put together we would pull data from different tools before Helium 10 had Cerebro, and we would piece together all of this data to create a spreadsheet to try to understand, like, how are the competition getting their sales, and what types of keywords can we try to build in. And then we made some mistakes even from there, where we overestimated our ability to rank for keywords based on a product we were selling that was similar. So like, for example, we did some noise canceling headphones one time, and they were super nice, very expensive, like $85-$90 price point. And I realized I can't rank for Bluetooth headphones because it's dominated by a bunch of $15 and $20 options, right? People are going to click and purchase those a lot more often and at a higher rate, significantly higher rate. So I realized, then I started to figure out how the algorithm works, and just through trial and error. So for us, it was always about maximizing our opportunities for success, understanding how the competition is getting their sales, what keywords drive sales, and then if there's a delta there, like if you find that the current sellers aren't meeting the demand and doing a good job, then that represents a great opportunity to come in and do it better. And usually you can be successful doing that. Your side of it, we've only started to get better at it, because we have in-house designers, we have toy designers, like, in-house now, and only with the advent of tools like PickFu and things like that, where we can compare and find out which ones the people are going to like more. So now like the design element comes in and we're getting a lot better at that part of it too. But for me, it was always data driven. And now we have to do what you're good at, which is, obviously like which one are people going to click on once it's ranked next to each other, right?
Yeah, and I love that there's those options, and they just keep growing. In the beginning, it was just like, okay, we hope we can create something in like Amazon Mechanical Turk or PickFu, it has become more popular, and now it just keeps growing. It really helps, but also you want to make sure that the data backs it up, because you don't want to get this 1,000 people to click on it on PickFu and say, yeah, I'm going to pick that one. But then you don't understand that that's not where that competitor is getting their traffic, or you're under the wrong keyword from the beginning, so it really is a hand-in-hand thing. And I think it's like a chicken or the egg situation. You could do either or, but both are important. And so that's really awesome. So I know over the years I've watched you come up with, like, you've always had your own way of pulling data, and then you bring it together, and then you'd share it. And I appreciate that about you, because you're always like, okay, this is what I've figured out through testing, and I'm going to share it, right? Because you don't have a scarcity mindset, which is really, really awesome. So I'm excited today for you to be able to share Data Dive. And before we get into it, why don't you just tell everybody what the gist of Data Dive is and what it can do for them?
Yeah, so we wanted to create a tool that took our strategy of answering the question, how are the competition getting their sales, and how good of a job are they doing at meeting the demand? What types of keywords are driving sales for a particular market? And then really give scores to those things. Really, really, what we call a master keyword list. And so we created that a while ago. And what Data Dive does is it does that and a lot more. It creates a master keyword list and a bunch of tabs and a bunch of data and a bunch of information, scores your competitors on indexing and ranking, uh, and lets you know pretty clearly like how many units you can expect to potentially sell, whether it's a market you even want to move into, how many keywords are driving sales, what the search volume is of those. And it really puts all of that in front of you in only a matter of a few minutes.
I'm excited. Yeah. And I just have to brag on the profits tool real quick, because I was telling Brandon before we went live, Data Dive has this profits tool, which allows you it's free. So no excuse not to use it. And it really, I had a client the other day show me, because I provide my students, spreadsheets and everything to calculate profits, because it's so important. And I was on a coaching call with a client the other day, and she brought up Data Dive's profits tool, and she's like, Amy, oh my gosh, like it's giving me all those little elements that I needed to more accurately assess my profit. So we were going through the product research stage and looking at potential profits. So great that you're offering that for free. We'll definitely give everyone kind of that insight today on how they can get access to that as well. But
Yeah,
I'm ready when you are, Brendan. Let's show it
yeah,
off.
let's do it. Do you have a particular product you want me to do? I just did one live. I did a dog bed. I can use that one. But for the profits tool, what we wanted to do is put together like the most accurate profit calculator you could do, make it as easy and simple as possible to try to account for every potential cost that you have when you choose a product, because a lot of people don't know about a lot of hidden costs and a lot of things that pop up, whether it's 3PL expenses, the unloading of the container at the 3PL, the palletizing, the relabeling, the sending back in. We try to account for all of it so that at the end of the day, you know what your true profit margin and ROI is, and then more so how many units you should order and how much budget you should have, so that you could properly do that product and not run out of stock. And a lesson that we learned and that we've learned in our business in the last year that really helped propel us forward was that we realized we were being too conservative. And being too conservative, the problem is that when you run out of stock, it costs you a lot of money, because you are missing out on profits for good products. When you run out of stock of good products, you're obviously just missing out on sales and profit. But it also can kill a product, because you're accumulating negative history, your ranks slide, and a lot of times when that new inventory checks in, it doesn't always recover to where it was. So we realize that we lose a lot more when we don't order enough inventory when we're right. So we lose a lot more when we're right and we don't order enough than we lose when we're wrong on a product and we order too much. And so it was tough to grasp our head around that because we're right. We're profitable about 80% of the time. About
Yeah.
20% of the time we're not. And so that 50% of the time when we have a product that's really good that we want to keep in stock, that we're going to keep reordering, if we run out of stock on those, it's costing us a lot more than the times when we were wrong. So it really propelled us forward. So the profits tool will help you. Data dive as a worksheet will help you work through what the competitors are selling, how many units, what keywords they're on, what percentage of those keywords. I'll show you that. That'll help you determine how many units you think you can sell in that first 3 months period, and then you can plug that into the profits tool and really get an accurate idea of how much budget you need for a product.
I love that. So I do actually have a product that I think we should do.
Okay.
So as you know, I'm in the cat space, and I've been considering competing with those crazy people at Thrasio. They have a urine odor eliminator, like urine.
A spray.
Yes, exactly. Like angry orange, right? Is very, very popular. But this is a really cool market. And the other day I was on with Troy with Seller Tools, and we were looking at a new feature in their plugin where they're like using the product opportunity explorer, which is really cool. I don't know. I probably shouldn't have said that live because I don't think anybody knows that they're doing that yet with their tool. But we were going through it, and according to the opportunity, it looks like a terrible opportunity. So I would love to, but the market research says a little bit differently. So I would love to see what Data Dive says and kind of compare it with what I've researched with Product Opportunity Explorer, in Seller Central. And it would be a fun exercise, I think.
Cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do that product. And what I need to know from you, I'm going to
Okay.
share my screen. Let me see. Okay. What I need to know from you is what is the main keyword, the most relevant and highest search volume keyword for that product? Is it like
Oh yeah.
pet odor eliminator spray? Like what is the main keyword?
Let me just double check because I believe, I think it's either pet odor eliminator, which gets 6,600 searches a month. Let's check
Uh-huh.
that one, and then let me look for. Yeah, it's definitely pet odor eliminator. Let's
Okay.
try that one.
So that's not a ton of search volume, but what you would normally do when you're going to use Data Dive is that you would want to make sure you get the 15 best sellers to use on your dive, because you want to know how the best sellers are getting their sales, and you don't want to miss any of them, right? And what,
Right.
what we're going to find is that a lot of times, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to see cat odor and stain removers.
Yeah.
This is particular for cat. So this looks like there's a dog house breaking supplies, but let me go ahead and go to the subcategory and see if maybe that's going to be better for us. Because but if there's two subcategories, you have to like make a custom list. So that's a really neat thing to do. What you do is you take the keyword or the ace in here, and you create a bar, and then you do it again, right? And you would do that for 15 or 10 or 15 or 20 of them. And then when you hit enter, only those are going to show up. So, and then that way you can get your custom list. But what we're going to do is we're just going to search with using this subcategory, okay, which is the
Yeah,
cat one.
and it looks like I just pulled it up on
Okay.
in the Product Opportunity Explorer, and it looks like between urine odor eliminator and pet odor eliminator, urine odor eliminator gets it gets a little bit less search volume. So
Okay.
it definitely is like pet odor eliminator
Okay, we're
is,
gonna go with this one then.
yep.
So right now, Data Dive uses X-ray. So it uses helium-10 because we pulled data from a bunch of different places, and we're relying on Cerebro and X-ray to really figure it out. So the first thing you're going to do is go to that main keyword, or go to that subcategory. And normally we would load more results. I don't know that it's necessary here. There's going to be 2 pages, but we're going to sort
Now,
by sales.
you were saying, Brandon, that Data Dive uses helium-10. So
Correct.
you would need a helium-10 subscription in order to make the most out of Data Dive.
Yes, you would need a helium-10 subscription. Now, this is really interesting. The way that this works, the main thing that you need is you need access to X-ray and you need access to Cerebro. We also use it for, tracking our keywords, but if you have another way to do that, that's fine. You can just do a la carte with with helium-10. So what we're going to do is we're going to choose the most sales, and when you go into a subcategory, generally it just goes straight down in sales, right? But we want to choose all the products that are the same, and there's 2 ways to do this. There's one where you take an overarching, strategy where you have a uh, a large market, and you take the 15 best sellers, and then you can niche down and you can choose just the style that you're going to do of that market too. And I recommend doing dives for both because you're going to get different insights. You're going to see how good the niche competitors are, and you're going to get an idea of how big the overall market is. So for this one, I want to do the overall market for this odor eliminator. Now we have different angry orange listings here. I believe these are individual listings. They just have different things. But it's going to be interesting because they are all selling well and all ranked well, and so they aren't variations of each other. So I do want to select them. But you'll find that there will be a search volume associated with their brand name, which we'll get into. So I'm just going to select them as I go down. Now this one doesn't show the sales, but we know it's very high, right? So we still
Hmm.
want to select them. Normally, when we sort by sales, what you're going to first see is if you see that NA at the top, then it's a big problem. Um, and you normally select that anyway, but we selected it, and then we're just going to go down. I don't want to use the cat litter one. I will use this one. Let's see. We've got Resolve.
Yeah, we've got some big brands in the
Yeah,
space, right? And then we've got, so what you're doing right now is you're just kind
we
of
don't want
choosing
gel.
some of
Yeah.
the big sellers so that you can get the data from them, right?
Yeah, we wanna know which sellers, the biggest sellers, we're answering the question, how are the big sellers getting their sales, right? Now,
Got
this
it.
one is another big brand. They've got like a bundle and then they've got another one, but they are different listings again, so we do wanna include both of them. So far, we've got 10. This is a urine deployer foam aerosol spray. So again, this is what I was going into before. Like if I wanted to make a foam, I would probably do this dive, and then I would also only go into the foam keyword and make sure that I got all of the foams, right?
So you're
Um,
checking both markets so that you're
yeah,
getting the data, especially the markets where you're primarily trying to compete.
correct. Yeah, and I'm right now I'm just going to do liquids, right? So I don't want the gels, I don't want the powders, the things that go in the litter boxes. This is a gel, and I've got 13 selected. I just need to get a couple more sprays here, or liquids. We got one here, and
Okay, so you're doing this based off the assumption that we're doing a liquid. And so that's
correct.
why you're trying to remove some of the other, like if we're not doing a powder and that's what people are looking for, well, then we're not going to add that to our data dive because we want to really narrow it down.
Correct. Yeah. So now
Okay.
that I like to use 15, you can use up to 20. Normally, Cerebro only allows you to do 10 at a time, but with our software, you could do up to 20. And then I'm going to hit dive. That was my tab there that was overlaid on X-ray. And you're going to see that we're pulling data from Google Trends. We're pulling from Cerebro. We're pulling from Keepa. Keepa is a free extension that is really great for analyzing pop-ups and products. We've got Seller Central data coming in. So I don't think I was logged into my Seller Central, so I might not be, but it's not as necessary. And then within
Now,
2 or 3 minutes,
question for you, Brandon.
yeah.
Are any other, like for example, Keepa used to be free. I loved it when it was free. Now it's, paid subscription. So when Data Dive is doing its work, Are there any other subscriptions that we need besides H10?
I think with Keepa you get 1 or 2 dives worth, but I think yeah, I think it's $5 or $10 a month for unlimited use. That's the only other one really. Just log into your Seller Central before you do it as well. I don't think I did, but that should be enough. Google's free, and then everything else is free. So it's Helium 10, so Keepa, Google, and Seller Central. And then within 2 minutes, you're going to have this populate. This is another 10 or 20 seconds. Here we go. And this is what we call our master keyword list. So what I want to do is walk you through what this sheet is and how it works, right? What you're seeing across the top here are the 15 sellers that the 15 best sellers that we chose. You're seeing a bunch of information about them. So you're seeing things like their rating, the number of reviews, their price, their sales, right? The revenue that they're driving every month. But down here, you're seeing all of the keywords that are driving sales for this product. And we have it sorted by relevancy. Now, relevancy, we establish with a formula that basically just counts the number of sellers that are ranked well, ranked on the first page for a keyword. So it's pretty logical, right? The logic behind that. The more competitors that are ranked well for a keyword, the more relevant it is, right? So once we establish based on relevancy, you're seeing this list here that you have 337 keywords with at least 3 relevancy, at least 350 search volume, and that equals 884,000 search volume. All right. Now, from that, this Rocco brand here is ranked on 96% of that search volume. They're ranked well for it. Angry Orange, who does really, really well, is only on 70% of that search volume. So what we're trying to do now is understand the picture. Again, remember, we're always trying to answer the question, how are the competitors getting their sales? And we want to make sure that this picture makes sense. So now 619,000 search volume is not significantly less than 850. Like it's this is a larger percentage, but it's not that much that it should equate for an extra 30,000 sales. So we have to look at these outlier keywords that we have. And from an SOP standpoint, the first thing that I'm going to do is look at the outliers, because I'm going to clean up the master keyword list later. I'm going to take out keywords that I can't get sales from. I want to make sure that this list is only keywords that I feel I can get sales from. So the first thing I'm going to do is look at this. And what I see right away is that there are an additional 30 keywords with an additional 312,000 that this guy is getting sales from. And that's significant. And what you're seeing over here, I think, is that this Angry Orange over here is at 92%, has 56 extra keywords with 320,000 search volume. I think the sales on this one are much closer to this one, honestly. But what I want to do is I'm going to look at those outlier keywords. So I pull up this second tab here, and all of a sudden I have a list of keywords that only a couple of these competitors are taking advantage of. And now this is the secret sauce here. So I've got something here where I've got number 3 on pet supplies. That's a major keyword with 171,000 search volume every month that are driving a lot of sales for this guy. And if I look over here at the rest of this list and I see this green, I can see numbers. 307 means that it's not even indexed for pet supplies. And so what that tells me is that there is a word in this phrase that these guys didn't bother using in their listing or didn't build next to pet supplies. Like pet and supplies might be in their listing somewhere, but nowhere near pet. They're just not indexed for it. So we know that they have pet, right? That's likely, I hope. But supplies is probably the keyword that they're missing. Now, if we look over here, this Angry Orange, this one's number 2 for orange. And this one's number 1 for orange. It makes sense. And no one else is even indexed for it. Even their other Angry Orange is not, which is really interesting.
So the dark green is throwing me off a little bit, Brandon, because I'm like, it seems like the dark green would mean like they're doing good for that keyword.
No, yeah, it's the other way. The white is good. The darker the green, the less indexed, the worse they're doing, right?
Got it.
And I know it's a little backwards there for you. Here's another one here, stain remover. Very, very relevant keyword. I think if it does have a stain remover function in addition to odor remover, right?
Yeah.
They're number 21. No one else is even indexed for stain. 307 means not even indexed. So maybe they don't want to make a claim that it's a stain remover when it's just an odor remover. Maybe it has no cleaning function. It's literally just to eliminate odors. So I thought it does clean at the same time. So I would think stain remover would be a keyword that I would index for, but clearly no one's taking advantage of it.
And
Now,
it's interesting because you could take that data and you could go, okay, odor, pet supplies, stain remover, and odor eliminator. And you could really see, you could do another dive, like you were saying, if that was going to be your angle where you're also removing the stains, because people, if they're removing odor, they also want to remove the stains from urine, right? So it really kind of opens up your eyes to opportunities as well when you're doing
yeah,
these dives.
yeah, it can, right? If these guys don't do stain removing and they only do odor, then yeah, you see how good of a job that this one's doing. Resolve is doing it, doing both. Then you might want to emulate that, change your formula, build something that does both, and really take that angle. Here's one that couch cleaner. Again, if they're how is it cleaning the couch if it doesn't remove stains? So clearly it does clean, but they're just not using, no one else is using stain remover with 24,000 searches. So you're starting to really get some gold here, but you have to
Mm-hmm.
understand that these are generic keywords. These are going to convert lower. They're going to be harder to rank for because you have a lot of competition that's very widespread. So these are keywords that you should understand whether you can compete on them, which ones you want to build into your listing. You're not going to launch targeting a lot of these, but you do want to establish indexing and you want to establish relevancy when you launch. So you're
Right.
getting some of that gold. And you're ultimately what you're looking to do is just paint the picture and make sure that you understand, okay, I now I understand how everyone's getting their sales and if I could do a better job, right? Now let me show you a couple quick things here because I think that let me see if I can move that out of the way. Sorry.
And when you say how people are getting their sales, what you mean is the keywords on Amazon that they're ranking for, and therefore we're assuming that they're getting their sales. But the one thing that we also have to check is, for example, if they're also in retail or something like that, or like their brand keywords are very heavy. We can't put all of our eggs in the ranking on Amazon basket, but it certainly helps us to understand where they're getting their sales, where others are not, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So with this tool will help you paint that picture too, because what you'll see if they're in retail, then people are going to come to Amazon and search specifically for that branded search, that brand name, right?
Yeah.
So what we can do is we can go over here to the roots tab and we can type in angry, right? No, sorry. Here it is here. Angry. And I've got right here angry orange odor eliminator 11,000, angry orange 7,000. I've got a lot of branded search volume.
Yeah.
And if I'm looking, if I want to do this again, I just want to go through, I want to see the broad. Here it is. Angry has a broad search volume of 29,000. That's super significant.
Yeah.
So that's showing me that they definitely do drive a lot of outside traffic because they're probably doing advertising off of Amazon. You'll see that when people drive to their own Shopify store too, that you'll get a halo effect of people searching on Amazon. So that they call it a halo effect. So it's not necessarily sitting on a shelf in Target. It could be that they're running ads on Facebook, Instagram, or Etsy or
Right.
something, driving to their Shopify store. And people are like, I don't trust Shopify. I have a Prime account. I'll just buy it on Amazon. So they go search for it and buy it on Amazon. So the more ads you do, the more branded search you find. But that's super important to understand that if you have these angry keywords, you know, that's where a lot of these other sales are coming from that you can't duplicate. And
Yeah.
so that's super important for you to know when you're trying to compete with Angry Orange, that is like they've got that advantage over you. Those keywords are going to convert a lot higher for them. And you're not going to be able to compete with those keywords. So those are sales you can't rely on also. So what I would
Unless I can
do,
find a keyword that they're not indexing for, that they don't care about, that another competitor is getting a lot of sales from, and I know it's a pain point that specifically my customer has. So that
essentially, yeah.
is helpful. Of course, it's not going to make up for all the the branded search, but if you can find it, then it can be helpful, right? But that's what is so great about seeing the keywords in this way, because you can look at them all at once and go, "Ooh, that's an opportunity, but I need to dig into it more."
Yeah, correct. So what I'm gonna do is, because I can't get sales from there, I'm gonna remove those keywords from the list. I'm not selling a gel or a powder or just as an example. So I can enter a phrase I want to remove. Um, Give me 1 second. I have to
No
give it
worries.
authorization. Takes 2 seconds, and then I can go back to sharing. Okay. All right.
Muhammad Hamza says, kindly share the sheet. Well, we can kindly share the sheet because it's part of the data dive tool, but we will be giving you instructions for how to gain access to a sheet of your own.
Absolutely. So what's interesting is, like, I removed those keywords, right? And so this number went down, search volume went down a little bit, and it actually hurt the angry orange sellers because they did not I removed keywords that they were ranking well for, right? And extra sales they were getting. But if I got Roxy and Rocco, that's the Rocco here, I guess.
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
probably want to remove like Roxy and Rocco as broads. So if I come over here and I can't really, if I don't think I can get sales from that branded search, I'm probably going to want to remove them, right? So I
I
come
love
over
that you have
here,
that option.
yeah, and so I go from 323 to 318. I eliminated a few more keywords there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to sort this by search volume, and I'm just going to see if there's any low hanging fruit just to clean it up to make this faster. Typically, what I'll do is I'll go through search volume first, and here's the way that we evaluate it. We really want to know, like, okay, how many very good sellers are there, and if we think we can compete with them, right? So
Mhm.
we've got, again, this cleaner keyword is 31,000. That's the highest search volume of these keywords. Carpet cleaner solution. We're not a carpet cleaner, so to say. We are an odor eliminator, but if we add that cleaning function, then look, they're getting sales from that. No one else really is, right? It's a low relevancy. Nature's Miracle Stain and Odor. That's definitely a brand name, which is over here. So that's something I would probably remove. But you can definitely go through and remove some of these. I'm going to remove Nature's. I'm going to remove, let's see, Nature's. If you're not an enzyme, you might want to remove it in Folex. So let me just do Nature's and Folex.
So
And
now what you're doing is you're narrowing your opportunity based on the things that you cannot compete with or you cannot control.
correct. Yeah, I want to, and I just removed, just from removing those two broad terms, I removed another 16 keywords. And you'll notice the more that you remove of these irrelevant keywords, the more this list is going to change, and the more competitive it might get, because we're removing stuff that really doesn't drive sales for a lot of these guys, and so as a percentage, their search volume will go higher, and we'll get a real good idea, a real accurate idea as to how competitive this niche is. 300 keywords. 750 search volume. Right now, from the looks of it, I think I can beat Resolve, but you have to understand Resolve's going to crush us on carpet cleaner spray. They're going to
Mhm.
crush us on this pet carpet cleaner. So they've got these this cleaner keywords, right?
So I would
Um,
probably take out the word carpet. I would probably add carpet because I'm not going to be targeting carpet, right?
you're not going
Um,
to spray yours on any carpet when there's a pee spray stain or something. I would probably keep carpet in this
okay.
instance. Yeah, just because, like, I think, like, the main place you use it is to remove the odor from a carpet.
Yep. Furniture, carpet. Got it.
Yeah,
That makes
yeah.
sense.
So I would probably keep it, but they're number 2 and number 1. So I'm trying to understand, like, who I can compete with here, how I'm gonna build my listing, but I'm gonna get into that now next too, because We
So you're
actually
just
show you
saying
that.
we're not going to compete with Resolve for carpet cleaner. Like they're like the
No, we're
number
just
one.
not, right?
Yeah.
But that's why they're at 14,000 sales with only 47% of this list. Whereas like Angry Orange, this version of Angry Orange is at the similar amount of sales, like really, really close, almost the same, but 71% of this list. Because Resolve has its own list of keywords that
Yeah.
they are also selling on that are in a different niche, that carpet cleaning niche that we didn't analyze. So we just have to understand that that's how Amazon works. And that if we were to only look at carpet cleaners with Resolve in there, then we would understand that market. But we're targeting this market, and we really want to know what drives sales for this market. So what I want to do is, and that's why they have 5 keywords with an extra 46,000 search volume, right?
Yeah.
Now, what I would say is that I can do better than these guys that are selling 4 and 5,000 a month if
Yeah.
this is the master keyword I'm working on. They are not indexed for a lot of super relevant keywords that have to do with pets, like dog housekeeping supplies. That seems super easy. Odor eliminator for strong odor. They're missing the word strong, apparently, right? Um, and same with this guy. What is this one? Carpet cleaner spray. So now I'm finding holes in the indexing and the writing and the way that my competitors wrote their listings. And all of those holes and how bad of a job they've done represent an opportunity for me to do it better.
Yeah.
So if I want to write my listing, well, first let me show you this. I'm going to deep dive on the competition. I really want to take an idea. This didn't pull; it normally does. I apologize. I did see an error with the Google. This will normally show you your Google trends, and I just did this dog bed right before with as an example with another call I did. I just want to show you what that looks like.
Sure.
Um, because this is very common for all pet products right now. This is the search volume over the last 4 or 5 years for this product in Google, like Google Trends. And you'll notice that during the pandemic, during 2020 and 2021, there was a huge spike. You could see it's seasonal. There's people buy these pet dogs, these dog beds for their pets for Christmas. So during Q4, you have a spike, but it's much higher for 2020 and 2021. A lot of people got pets during the pandemic when they were locked down, right? Now it's coming back down to normal. So you can understand that it's a declining market rather than an increasing market. And that's important for aggregators to know when they're going to buy a product. It's important for you to know so you can understand how many units to order, what to expect moving forward from this type of product. So that's what the trends will look like. We also overlay Amazon in there a lot of times. But I imagine that it's going to be similar. A lot of people have dogs. It's probably going to stay there because the dogs are young and they're still, but they're not puppies anymore, so they're more likely to be housebroken. So you probably need the spray less as the dog gets older, I imagine. So that's what I'm thinking, is that this market as a whole is declining. But what I want to do is I want to look at the competition and look at how good they are at content, how many variations they have, what their out of stock rate is, what their average selling price. um Look, this Rocco and Roxy is just like an insane example of something that's viral. They're making their content is not fantastic. Um, they have the back of their bottle as the second image. It doesn't have the benefits to the buyer. Um, and then you have Angry Orange. They're obviously Thrasio is really, really good at content, and they've crushed this product. And they have no variations. They're just, they have really colorful, wonderful designs. They display the benefits. Um, safely target. You can go over here to the listing and really understand like how
I
good they
love
are
how
at
it just
content.
pulls the images for you right there, though, like so that you can kind of
Yeah.
look at it together.
Yeah, you can really analyze. We're going to be pulling once we switch from the Google Sheets to the other. We're going to pull the A plus content for you as well and put it next to it so you can see it as well.
Yeah.
You'll see Resolve is again just the back of the bottle. This is such a terrible listing, and you can crush them. And we were seeing that they're a green listing, but they've got a lot of branded search. But you could do a better job than them, I think.
Right.
Um, the type of spray bottle versus like the industrial bottle matters. Like you can see which one's working better for these guys as well, and Rocco and Roxy. Um, you've got 2 variations here. Again, great content. Again, benefits. They're testing. Packaging may vary because I guess they had different they had different suppliers or shipments, and they want to just put that second so that the people aren't surprised, right? Oh, my spray bottle's white, or they probably had a shortage on bottles or something. But normally it would be this one. Their 3-in-1 spray, or is there benefit to the buyer, I guess. Again, just the back. I think you could do better. Again, Nature's Miracle is not good at Amazon. Removes odors, so this is the benefit to the buyer. And you're really just going through and you're seeing the trends of the product. This is the keep a function over here, which I think is super important to include. You could see their price points, their average price point of the last 90 days.
And I
And
think if you started with the market research and you looked at, so like I did, I started with the market research and I've been in all the cat groups forever, right? And I happen to know that most of the people who buy these odor eliminators for cats specifically are not buying any of these brands. They look for specific features that are only in certain brands, and they look for that from their veterinarian or from certain stores, and they're crazy about it. So
what's
I can
interesting
look
is,
at,
like,
once I
if you
know that
knew,
market data, I can look at what you've pulled in Data Dive, and I can go, oop, none of these images are targeting what those customers are specifically looking for.
well, that's really interesting, right? It's like, so what is it on this list that they're looking for that you can find that has search volume, and you can see how much they're driving the market with the specific stuff? Is it the enzyme cleaner, right? Likely it is. Like, if the vets are saying get an enzyme cleaner to eliminate, then 14,000 people a month are specifically searching for enzyme cleaner. But from a root perspective, from a broad root perspective, enzyme is here at 50,000. It's super significant. So there's a
Yeah.
lot. There's 14 keywords that have 50,000 combined search volume that have the root enzyme in it. That's really, really relevant. So yeah, like you're saying, like, what are the ways that they're searching? What are the key features that they really are looking for? Well, enzyme seems to be one of them, right?
Yeah.
So looking at the keyword data and understanding the market, then you can really understand the buying habits and what's driving sales. So once you do a deeper dive into the competitors, we really want to go to the titles, and we want to understand, like, how good of a job has the competition done at writing their title for maximizing ranking potential, right? And what you're seeing right away is that Rocco and Roxy actually has the best title, crushing it.
Yeah.
627,000 ranking juice score that we give based on match type, broad ranking juice match type, our understanding of the algorithm. They're able to capture the majority of these keywords at the highest percentage or highest ranking potential than anyone else here. Second is this angry orange. Third is this Bubba's, and then angry orange, right? And what's interesting is that they're the best. It doesn't always work that the best one is there, because you don't need to have the highest score sometimes to rank the highest for different keywords.
Yeah.
This is more of something where you're going to take this. I'm going to start with this one. I'm going to come over here to this function that we have here for this listing builder. And I want to use that master keyword list, and I want to write my title to maximize my opportunity to rank. And so I'm going to take this and start here as a starting point, and I'm going to look at these keywords, and I'm going to see which ones are they missing.
Mm.
Before I even do that, I can even go over here to this outlier keywords, and I can add some of these to the master keyword list. I want to add pet supplies. I want to add puppy supplies. I want to add, couch. Maybe I'm going to avoid the cleaners, like the generic cleaners, but Resolve carpet cleaner, Folex, cat repellent, maybe cat repellent, Fancy Feast mattress cleaner, pet corrector spray for dogs. No, that's different. I think that's more of like a training, right? Carpet shampoo, Folex, pet supplies for dogs. All right, so I've added these, right? And so now these are going to come over here and be added to this master keyword list. I think I need to do it here. And then and then I can build those into the listing and take account for those too, which really gives me an advantage. But
And Brandon, this is clearly an opportunity for those people who have products already. So this is not just for product research. If I have a product already that I want to get more sales for, I can run a data dive on it and re-rank my listing.
1,000%. Yeah, if you're one of these other guys that just isn't doing a good job, right? Like you're just not ranked, you're not writing your listing well, you're not ranked well. Like this simple green here, terrible. Great image, but just not doing a good job indexing or writing their listing, and can do a significantly better job. So their 4,000 sales could easily be 10,000, right?
Yeah.
And so we see that all the time. We do consulting with aggregators on a regular basis, including the biggest ones. So we'll come in here and we'll tear down the listing, and we'll look at this product and we'll say, okay, these are the keywords you're missing out on. Like you could do better, right? So I have these outlier keywords that got thrown up here because I selected them, right? And then they didn't build it into their listing. So if I wanted to, I could add it in here, but I would have to remove something. So now it's going to become a game where I can rewrite this listing a bunch of different times to maximize the score. More importantly, after you launch, you're going to go, and if you already have a product that's launched and you rewrite your listing, you're going to monitor your keyword ranks, and you might not need to put the exact form to maximize your ranking potential for a keyword. Sometimes just the phrase match matters, or just the root will be, or just the broad form will be enough, or just the plural will be enough, right? So it's a constant test to rewrite your listing a bunch of times to maximize your ranking potential for different keywords.
And you can utilize this for your PPC as well to really be making sure that you're driving traffic to those specific keywords, right?
Yeah, so I'm going to show you. There's a PPC tool built in, so it'll do that for you. But I want to try to explain ranking really quickly for everyone that's watching, so that they understand how Amazon's algorithm works. It's like Amazon has to give you credit for thousands of keywords every single time there's a micro action, just simply because they cannot wait for a micro action to happen on every single keyword, even with all the traffic they have. So every single time someone clicks on your listing, browses your listing, looks at your reviews, adds it to cart, purchases it, all of those are like micro actions, and you're going to get a certain amount of credit for how they came into your listing. So whatever that root keyword was that they searched for to find it, and then the match type determines how much credit. So if you can picture your listing as a bank, and every single one of the keywords a bank account, you're getting a little bit of credit in each bank account every single time there's a micro action. Now, you also, if let's say someone just clicked directly through to your listing and purchased it, you're going to get credit also, a little bit of credit for how you build your listing. So which keywords you prioritize where and in what format. Okay, so that gives you more credit also. Now, once you have that credit, the way you cash it in is by maximizing the ranking juice potential. So that's where that ranking juice comes from. The exact format of a keyword is the maximum potential ranking juice. The title, the beginning of your title, is the maximum amount of ranking juice. So everywhere else in your listing besides there is a little bit less opportunity to withdraw, and different match types are different percentages opportunity to withdraw. But what you need to understand is that you don't necessarily have all the credit in the world in your bank account. You had to rely on the performance of your listing, your click-through rate, your conversion rate, your revenue. All you're doing now is giving a signal to Amazon about relevancy, and in order to try to maximize that withdrawal. Now, let's say that you've got pet supplies in your listing, and you want to try to rank to number 3. But the maximum credit you have in there is number 15, because remember, it's relevant to your competition. If you, and I'm making this number up to make it easy to conceptualize, but let's say number 15 for pet supplies is 500,000 credit, and number 14 is 505,000 credit. If you only have 500,000 credit in your bank account, and a plural match is enough to withdraw 500,000, you don't need to put the exact match in there in order to get that, right? But what you can do is test it by rewriting your listing putting the exact, and if your ranking doesn't go up, it means you need to do a better job and relevant to your, relevant to your competition with regards to that keyword or those roots, or keywords related in that. So from PPC, from click-through rate, from conversion rate, from revenue.
And
And the better,
something, Brandon, that I want to point out is that you have to be careful, though, because you'll see people that get crazy about consistently changing their listing, and then they're not following that up with the right kind of traffic. And so they'll change their listing, which I've done this with clients many times. We'll just change one exact match in their title, and it moves them up to page 1 for that keyword, triples their sales overnight. It's perfect. It's a great change to the listing. But I've also seen people that are hyper focused on constantly changing their listing, and they're not updating their PPC. They're not updating anything else. And they're just like, every day they're like click happy people that just want to like change their listing. And that actually can be detrimental to all of those transactions in the bank account, because every time the search engine decides that, especially in your title, the search engine is going to recrawl your listing, and now you've lost that ranking for all of that, unless you're consistently running the traffic to those keywords to get it back right away.
yeah,
Right?
the performance, and it has to be a holistic approach, and the performance of your pay-per-click and the relation of every keyword. So that's why, like, when we talk about a long tail keyword that has a lot of words in it, that's why we break it down to the root. We break it down to the single word. That single word being in thousands of keywords, you're getting a little bit of credit, but the performance of PPC that's bad is going to withdraw money from the bank the same way the good will put money in the bank, right? So you need to, like you're saying, if you're going to prioritize a keyword, then you need to make sure that what you've been doing is positive. And a lot of people will just throw on a bunch of broad and auto campaigns and not really optimize them, not really understand whether they're helping or hurting their listing. And so you want to make sure that you are outperforming your competitors relevant to that each keyword, right? And that you're taking advantage of the maximum opportunity. And what's interesting is you'll find the keyword master keyword list that we have there is going to allow you to go through and find those keywords that your competitors are not prioritizing in an exact match, where they're only withdrawing a percentage of what they can withdraw. But even though they're performing better than you, just because you put it in an exact form, now you can withdraw more. So they had more in the bank, but they just didn't withdraw it all. And now you're withdrawing your maximum to just get ahead of them. So now you're ranked ahead of them. And so that's where optimizing and rewriting your listing comes from. But you need to know that when you pull something out, you need to track it. You need to know what happens to it. Like you're saying, if you change the title, you've obviously removed something sometimes. And now what happens to that? The listing, the crawler that you're talking about, the algorithm needs to pick it up from somewhere else in your listing. It's going to be less credit. It's going to be a different type of match type. It's going to be less. So you need to understand, okay, I need to rewrite that somewhere else in exact form or in phrase form so that I can make sure I get the maximum credit for it. So it's an art and a science at the same time with writing your listing to maximize your ranking potential. But what we're doing with the tool is giving you a great head start.
Love it. Cool. You said you had one more thing to show us.
Yeah, one more quick thing. I know that nothing's quick about this, but let me jump in really quickly. So once we're in here, I just want to show you can hit plus, and then you can actually see the roots. We break it down to the roots, and we see supplies is not in there, pet supplies. So puppy is not in there, repellent, odor remover, puppy supplies. So we can click on one of these, right? And it'll give me only the keywords that are that have that root in it. Obviously, pet supplies is number one, but it'll show me all of them, and then I can choose which one I want to write into my listing, right? So that's a feature that we built in there for the writing, and then for the PPC, what you do is once you clean up that master keyword list and you have the keywords you want to target, you can import the master keyword list here. And it's very important that you understand that for ranking, plural matters, right? So like pet supply will be different than pet supplies. odor eliminator is different than odor eliminators for ranking. But for PPC, it's the same exact thing. If I have, see here, I have pet supplies and pet supply. If I target pet supply with an exact form PPC campaign, I am going to show up for pet supplies. I'm also going to show up for the pet supply, a pet supply, the pet supplies. So it's going to show it for many different types of keywords that have conjunctions in them and have plurals in them. And you need to normalize those to avoid overlap if you want to. So what this tool does for you is it normalizes them, eliminates all the overlap potential by combining the search volume for you and eliminating them. And then it's going to click and try to give you as many phrase and broad campaigns as you can create without having overlap. So it'll check all these boxes for you. And then what you do is you come over here to the PPC campaigns and you set up your rules, your bid, your number of keywords per campaign, the difference, the range of search volume you want. So if you want 10, which means you're willing to have something with 1,000 search volume and 10,000 in the same campaign, but only in that range. And it'll break it all down, all of that entire list from those exact campaigns. It'll break it all into different keywords for you for the broads and the exacts. And then all you need to do is click this generate my campaigns. It'll give you an upload file and you can go generate hundreds of campaigns with the click of a button.
I love that. That's really, really awesome. It makes it very, very easy for you to create those campaigns and make sure that you're tracking the right keywords.
Yeah.
And then also, you know, if you're linked in with Helium 10, you can add specific keywords to your tracking list so that what gets measured gets managed. And it's a really great tool. Awesome.
I appreciate it.
Thank you, Brandon, for sharing with us today. Can I reveal how they can actually take advantage of this? So
Absolutely.
Brandon created a discount just for you guys. You can get the profits tool for free, right? That's available right now. But if you want to subscribe to Data Dive, you can use code AMY. That's a really hard code to remember, I know. AMY, A-M-Y, at datadive.tools, and that'll give you savings of $50 per month, is it, off of your subscription?
Yeah, so you guys have a super great discount. It's $50 off per month, so $100 per month instead of $150. And yeah, right away. So all you do is go to datadive.tools and you put in Amy.
Pretty easy. And again, don't forget to take advantage of the profits tool. That's free. I saw you have a Chrome extension too. Is that just
the Chrome extension? Yeah, the Chrome extension you need to have to run it. So when you download it'll be a Chrome extension. Yeah.
Got it. Cool. All right. And that's what generates, the spreadsheet, all of that. And now, how does the spreadsheet work in terms of, do we need Excel for that? Will it open in Google Sheets? How does that work?
Yeah, when you sign up, you want to use an email that has Google so that you have Google Sheets. We're moving to a sheet list format in the next 2 months, but for now you need Google Sheets. And then you just give it some permissions within your Google Sheet. The first time you use it, it'll populate the sheets into your own Google Drive. So we don't store anything and keep any of your sheets. It's all generated locally for you.
Amazing. Brandon, thank you for taking the time today. I learned so much about Data Dive. I really want to go play now. It's really, really cool. All the different things. I mean, there's really endless uses for it. You can use it for product research. You can use it for listing optimization. You can use it for PPC, campaign creation and optimization. You can use it for analyzing your competitors, market analysis, so many cool things. So thank you for creating it, for sharing it with everybody, and for coming on the show today to show us this cool tool. Thank you for creating a discount for us. And we appreciate you so much.
Great to see you. I'll see you in Vegas, I'm sure.
Yes, we'll both be in Vegas for Prosper. I'm stoked about that. And just to remind everybody who's here, thank you so much for being here. We have Seller Roundtable in 1 hour. We've got Dylan Carter coming on the show today. We haven't checked in with Dylan in a while, and he's been up to some fun stuff. So we're going to talk to Dylan today. Don't forget, we're going to Mexico in April. So don't forget about that. If you guys are interested in learning more about sourcing from Latin America, you can go to themexicotrip.com and check that out. And then also in the Amazing at Home Mastermind group, we are learning about building your brand off of Amazon. So last week's class was about analyzing your demographics on Amazon and off of Amazon in your insights. And this week we're getting into actually building the connection. What is that good content that you need to do to actually have a connection with your audience? So the next time you launch a product, you're not just launching it on Amazon. You have an audience list to launch it to. So that's what we're working on this week. You guys can go to amazingathome.com/brand to check that out. And I think that's it. So we'll see you guys in an hour. Brandon, my friend, thank you so much for being here. And everyone, have a great rest of your day. Bye.